Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. If you are here for the first time, welcome and hello. If you are a returning person or subscriber, welcome back and I appreciate you coming back. Today I am filming this look, not really the look, but just the skin, because a lot of the times I get questions like, oh my god, your makeup looks so natural, but I have like tons on. I don't really have tons on today, but I found that it's the way you apply your makeup that and what you use kind of helps the naturalness of it. So I basically, just a pre-story, I don't use primers, I just use oils. So whatever oil I use to moisturize my skin, that kind of mixes in with my foundation and it absorbs a lot better and it sits a lot better. The way I set my under eye concealer, I set just about this area because it's the area I put most of my concealer on, and here is just a very light powder, really just the residue. But you see all that in the video. So if you do want to see how I got my skin looking so glowy and bomb, then keep watching. Right, so excuse my hair. I'm sure as the video goes along, it will, you know, revert to form. I've just washed it, so it's a bit like wet, so it's not sitting in a poof, it's falling. It's very annoying, but I hope it dries soon because I'm going out. Okay, so obviously I start with my brows done. I don't really fill my brows in too much. I just kind of do the basics. And then the first thing I do is skin. I don't really prime my skin. I used to use Maybelline Baby Skin, which I like, but every primer I've tried since I've reacted to. So I think I can only do silicone based primers and not like cream based primers because I'm allergic to something in that. So I just tend to, I didn't moisturize my face today. I've been so busy doing my hair, I forgot to moisturize my skin, and thank God I remembered because this is actually the key to my makeup. So I mix my lotion in with some rosehip oil. I talk about my skincare routine in a channel and I will put the link somewhere around here. So yeah, the oil in my lotion kind of helps my foundation go on really nicely. This is annoying because I've now done my brows, so I can't moisturize my face the way I want to. But it's all good. Okay, so ideally give this a few minutes to you know, absorb into the skin, but it's pretty much absorbed because I've rubbed it in loads. Okay, so like I said, I start with my foundation. I'm using my NARS Radiant Creamy NARS All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation in the color Syracuse. If you've watched any of my videos, this is like my staple. I used to use the Fenty, but it doesn't do well in Nigeria. It oxidizes ultra. So the color I was when I got color matched is not what I am anymore, unfortunately, and I would rather just use what works. So I dot foundation all around my face. And I take a damp Beauty blender. So now for my skin, I find that when I'm blending in my foundation, it helps to take my time. Like in the mornings, I'm usually like, oh my god, I'm doing so much. But then my foundation doesn't sit as well. So when I do it slower and I actually take my time, it blends into my skin so much better. Okay, so just make sure this is all blended. Yeah, so first step being foundation is now complete. After I do my foundation, the next thing I go in and do is my concealer. So I use two different concealer colors. I use Biscuit and Ginger of the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. And I find that part of, oh, these are two biscuits, my bad. Yeah, that's a ginger. So I find that how I apply makes a massive difference to how it comes out. So what I first like to do is take my darker color, which is Biscuit. This has a more of a red undertone, so it helps with my under eye circles. And I take it from the corner of my eye, I take it down the side of my nose, because it's kind of like reverse contouring almost. So down the side of my nose like this. And then I just do a few lines going this way. You see? And then I do the same thing on the other side, so down the side of my nose like that, and then going. So there we are. After I do Biscuit, I add a little bit of ginger on top because this is actually a highlight color for me. It's lighter than my skin tone, so the two of them mixed together is like perfect. Here we are. And then I go back in with my Biscuit and I kind of just put that on the high here, just slight Biscuit. And I go over it with ginger again. So bit of ginger, bit of ginger, bit of ginger. After my highlight comes the contour. It's actually a very quick routine, guys. After my highlight comes the contour. So this is my Maybelline Fit Me foundation stick in the color Coconut, also my staple. And this is where you have to be very careful, because if you're paying super like close attention to like the way your skin looks, you want it to literally mirror the angles of your face. So I like to, even though I do this every day, still feel for where my contour actually should be. And then I go slightly above that line, but I still follow the groove, but I go slightly above. So there. Okay, and then your forehead. And I also do here. The jawline. So this is it, contoured up. So now it's time to blend. I do concealer first and contour after because I don't know, it just kind of works for me that way. So I take this and again I go slow because the thing is this has kind of not dried in place, but it's drying in place, and you don't want to move the product too much to the point that it's like thin. You just want to blend it out. So I take my sponge, you know, the usual dab, dab, dab. This is damp, by the way, and it's just the same one I use for my foundation. And I try and keep this line by my nose as straight as possible. So, sorry I'm looking down, I just want to make sure I'm doing the right thing because I left my laptop at my boyfriend's house, so I don't have my screen, which is quite annoying, but you know, life goes on. So I have to film without, and I can't see too good. Okay, so we've done the under eye concealer. I do all my concealer spots first. Okay, that's done. Next, I take this brush. I actually got this from H&M. I just saw it by the counter and I was like, I like the shape. Let me show it to you. Actually, I think it's, yeah, that's it. So that's the shape of the brush. It kind of, this, I feel like mirrors the shape of my face. So what I do is I literally put this hollow bit in the hollow of where my contour is, and then I kind of just do this. So the bigger part blends out any fallout and the smaller part blends out the line. So you end up with a nice, well blended contour, and it goes onto the concealer. So you get a nice blended color. I don't know if this is coming up well on camera, but I do the same thing here. Kind of put my jaw in the dip of the brush and let it like blend for me. You really need to blend this out really good, because if you don't, you actually will look like one of those babes on Instagram with the... Wow, my lips feel dry as hell. I hope this isn't showing up on camera. I did. Okay, same thing here. You blend it, and then you take the brush. See, at this point, I don't care too much for precision, even though I do try and get it as like good as possible, because I'm still gonna go over with my powders and stuff and reverse contour and all that, so I create new lines. But this is just to give my face the like underlying dimension that I want. Okay, so now that we've done the base, the liquid base, it's time to do the powder base. So what I like to do first of all is, obviously I need to set everything that I've put in place. So I do eyes first, and I have to make sure that I have to make sure that all of these areas, there's no creasing underneath my eyes, because you don't want to set that in place. I kind of go over with a bit of my leftover concealer on my eyelids, just to give it a little bit something, something, you know. Now, once I do that, I then take my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder with a damp beauty blender, and I take, this isn't a beauty blender, it's a Real Techniques face base sponge. So I take this, the flat part, right, and then I go into these inner corners of my eye. I don't really bake, but I just like to make sure that at least the corner with the most product, you know. Now try and get as much product as you can on your sponge at first, because the more you keep going in, which is what I'm doing now, which is irritating me that I'm doing, you're setting it more and more and more, and you don't really want to do that, because then you get that baking look. And then, you know that line I told you about? I take this translucent setting powder, I bring it up along that line, because it helps to act as a contour. If you can see, my nose is already looking skinny. I go, where else? I go underneath, yeah, underneath where I contoured. So where that line is, remember I told you that I was going to reverse contour to make this a bit more precise. So on both sides, I like to bring it all the way down here, because it makes my face just look a little bit skinnier. I don't know, I feel like this is a little bit high. I want my contour a little bit like that. Yeah, so yeah, I just kind of shape what I want, because at the end of the day, this is actually what gives my contour the shape. Put a little bit of that here, and a little bit down the bridge of my nose. And I leave that be. And then I go in with my, okay, after that I do my nose contour, which is also a cream, but it's a stick. It's the CoverGirl Fix Stick True Blend, and this is in the color D, I don't know, sorry guys. So yeah, I take this, right, so this is how I know where my contour goes, right in between, where it's right in the middle of the highlight and my nose highlight. So that's what gives my nose that little thing. And then I go on the bottom here just to make my nose look a little bit like higher and shorter. And I do that. And then I take, this is actually a really nice brush. This is the Real Techniques brush. It's the Deluxe Crease Brush. And I just blend that powder. And I blend it right into my eye here. So it goes this way. don't know why this brush works so good, but it just does. And then I know I'm leaving this for a long time, and this is pretty much like baking, but it's not, because I didn't pack it on. I just kind of was subtle with it. So the next thing I'm gonna do now is go over this contour, even maybe go over this liquid highlight, for God's sakes. Go over this setting powder. So this bronzer that I'm using is, I think it was a limited edition, but I bought it in bulk. Well, actually TK got it for me in bulk, shout out to him. It's from MAC, but it's the Studio Sculpt Defining Bronzing Powder in Delphique. It's from South Africa, and it's like this cool, I don't know, I love it, but it has like an orangey mud kind of color undertone, which I like for my skin tone. So I use this first. I take like an angled brush like that and just go in this area and bronze my cheeks up. Both sides. I also take in that color with an eyeshadow brush and just kind of give my eyes some dimension with this. So it kind of acts as an eyeshadow also. Right in my crease area. That's that. And then I go back into contour. Did I take this contour all around my face? I don't remember. So I'm just going to do it again, because there's no such thing as extra. Yeah, so I go back in with my Too Faced bronzing powder in Chocolate Soleil. This is the medium deep, and this is a matte bronzer. But this I actually just use right in the line, because it's a bit more brown. So just to, you know, give it a bit of definition. Okay, so now I can take all of this off. You see? Okay, sorry for the tip tap, that's my dog just walking around. Okay, now after this, I would probably put on a bit of eyeliner and lashes or whatever, so I'm gonna quickly do that and I will be right back. Right, okay, so now that I have gone away and come back, I just did some lashes and some eyeliner, something simple, but like I said, today is all about the skin, so I didn't want to take away from that too much. I am relatively irritated by the state of my hair, but we will ignore. Okay, so now that I've done that, the base is pretty much all done. The next thing for us to do now would be to highlight. Because like I said, it's skin, what I like to do is use a cream highlight. What I like to do is use a liquid or a cream highlight first. Becca Shimmering Skin Perfecting Spotlight in the color Opal. So it's like this. I put it on the back of my hand and let it warm up on my skin. So I rub it in like that. I don't know if you can see, it looks something like that. And then there's certain places of my face that I just kind of, I know that it has to be. So all here. And then I go in with my damp beauty blender and I just dab to blend it into my skin. Sometimes I put this underneath my foundation also. If I do that, I use the gold one of this. I mix it in with my foundation because it's more of my skin color. So here we are again. All the way up here, like that. Blend it in. You see how natural that looks? Golly. And then, you know, down the bridge of the nose, right at the tip, here. So, let's make sure that's all blended properly. Now you can't, the reason I do it and then blend is because if you do all the areas of your face, it dries. So you're gonna have a streak on your face, which is hella ugly. Say no, thank you. Next, it's time to highlight. So first off, I take my Sephora Golden Hour. This is in the color number 2 in Dawn. I really like this highlight. And I've noticed that this, where I put that liquid isn't actually the high point of my face, but I do like to put the liquid there slightly lower, kind of like here, is actually the high point of your face. So that's where I like to put my highlight, and I'm very generous with this because I guess. So, and then I also put it like here because I notice my face catches the light like there a little bit. So I do that, and I have one more highlight. I know I'm going overboard. I know, don't kill me, don't hate me, but I know I'm going overboard. But this is the powder version of the liquid we put on. So I want to go over the liquid with the powder to set that. So imagine a liquid highlighter and you're setting it with a powder highlighter. Trying to be blinding, sis. So, okay, this is shit over. It's so pretty, guys. It's so pretty. But I don't know why it's not focusing. Well, so yeah, like I said, I go back up here, but I don't do it in. I don't literally do the bare minimum because I know. So there, and then the tip of my nose and the bridge of my nose. This obviously gotta be blended out. And then okay, so that's pretty much it. But for the final step, what I would do probably if I had a long day like today, obviously there are areas of my face that I didn't set with the translucent powder, so I just go in with my blending brush and my face powder. This is actually just the Sephora powder in the color 35 Bronze, and so kind of just areas like here, just go over, you know, just a little bit, just so it's set like underneath here. And this just kind of helps take away that white cast of the translucent powder. As you can see, I'm not putting too much on, I'm just dotting it around, staying away from the highlight obviously because I'm not trying to dim that down. And yeah, I almost forgot blush. With this look, I like to do a very basic baby blush. I don't go with anything too plummy. So this is just my Tarte in the color Party, as in 3 A's. And my blush brush. So the way I apply my blush is really quite simple. I take quite a lot, but I go backwards. I don't go forwards. So I do that. So the majority of the product is here, but I really just like a very subtle pink. To finish off the look, I'm just gonna go in with the nude kind of lip situation. This is from, I also think this is Maybelline. It's Maybelline or Rimmel, I'm not sure, but it's one of the lipsticks just from Boots. This is in the color Coffee Craze in the color Sensational. Yeah, it's Maybelline. Coffee Craze 740. Color Sensational. It's like a, I don't know, it's just like my go-to lip color. And because my face is kind of matte, I'm going to go in with the Dior lip gloss, and this is in the color 629. It's the Ultra Gloss. 629 called Mirrored. Yeah, this is cute. Alright y'all, so this is basically how I get my skin on fleek. Nice and simple. photographs really well, no flashback, nothing. It looks bomb. So but all I can say right now is my skin looks good. So I think this is a mix of my skin routine and what I actually do and the way I apply my foundation and the oil I put on my skin and that mixing in with the foundation and all of that stuff. But honestly, it's thebomb.com. So thank you for watching and see you in my next one.